Good evening, Stevenson Science here, or Alexander. So, I thought I'd do this quick video to sort of go over a few things. So, in essence, I had a training session yesterday, so I went over some French contrast training, I think it's called. I'll double check. So, in essence, what I was doing is just working on my lower extremity. So I'm quite strong everywhere else. I do a lot of body weight based exercise and some strength based stuff as well, but I normally work my upper body rather than my lower body. So in terms of my training over that ACL period of rehab, I engaged in a lot of posterior chain movements which helped with the hamstring, but not only that, my general hip mobility and a lot of other aspects as well. But I had to do I had to train my upper body on the side to go alongside it and complement the program. So yeah, I believe it's French contrast training, speed and power. So yeah, which clarifies my general training session. So I worked my lower extremity, so I did a lot of pistol squats, which are unilateral, so you put one leg out in front of you, go down into a squat, come back up again, but that tends to stress the overall lower extremity and the ankle stability as well that you have. So I did that, and then I also went on to some Bulgarian split squats. The Bulgarian split squats tended to be around about 75 to 85% of my 1 rep max, which was just enough to be able to put me into a 6 reps being challenging, that sort of thing. So I tended to get to my last couple of reps on each side and I was starting to struggle a lot. So that's when I knew I was hitting that point of maximum gaining from the lifts themselves. So I did the elevated split squats with my foot behind on a bench, and then I would go down and do a normal lunge, but that would stress the gluteals and the hamstrings. But I also did some general split squats as well, which I focused on the eccentric portion of it, so the slower I was going down the better, and then when I was coming back up as much force as I could, like almost jumping but not leaving the floor, and that would really stress the power output that I would have going into the concentric phase, i.e. pushing back up, and that really worked the quadriceps as well, especially in terms of concentric work. So that really helped. But other than that, I also did some sort of stiff-legged deadlifts. So I worked more on the hip mobility side of things. So I would get the cable machine, for example, and I would put that into a front, or into a rack position or front squat position, and I would go into what would be considered either a stiff-legged deadlift, stiff-legged deadlift / lunge. So I put my leg behind me, but I used a resistance band between the two knees to be able to maximise the challenge that I did have of going down into that hip mobility sort of exercise. That really helped, and I did that on both sides. But I also, when doing my pistol squats, I use these Olympic rings. These are from Sundried. They're a really good product. I highly recommend. The link will be in the description. So I use them. I tend to use more the TRX and suspension sort of equipment for that kind of thing, especially bodyweight sort of exercises, but generally the unilateral aspects of it, I tend to choose things that are such as the bands and stuff to give me some more stability until I'm able then to just perform it as the exercise would be performed. So I'm currently now foam rolling. I've got a hockey ball which I got from Sports Direct. It's a Slazenger one, so this really helps. I do have a big one from My Protein, which is, although very good, doesn't get into the little bits of fascia that is very tight, such as this would do. because it's such a small surface area, it does get into those little bits. But in terms of foam rolling and be able to release the tension in the fascia after a large training session, I would recommend either a sports massage if you know someone that can perform techniques and stuff and would gladly do it for free, or would help you out in general or give you a discount or whatever. Give it a go. I would highly recommend. We did it at college as a module, a sports massage. We did both pre and post performance massage. The difference being pre was very wasn't very pressurized when going into the fascia itself. It was very loosely done and just fast overall, whereas the post side of it, you really get deep into the fascia and you do it very slowly, so it gets rid of all the excess waste products and byproducts that you get from exercise over long durations or at maximal outputs. So I would highly recommend doing a sports massage if you know someone that can do that. Alternatively, if you find these cheaper, then go for these. Just don't get, well, I say don't get a foam roller only if it's a last resort. Go for these if anything else doesn't work. Alternatively, you can buy a baseball, which is a little bit bigger in general circumference, so you can still hit those markers that you need to. But I would definitely recommend getting something like this or a similar likewise item. I just find that the big foam rollers don't tend to hit those spots that you need them to hit. Overall, it just creates more of a surface area for the body. It doesn't really help as much. But in terms of that and in terms of performance as well, if you stretch on a daily basis, if you get massages, or if you foam roll on a daily basis, then you're keeping your muscles long and strong overall. If you're conditioning and strengthening well, day by day or every other day depending on your regime, then as long as your flexibility is in an appropriate place and you foam roll as well to keep it nice and loose and pliable, then you're all good to go. It just helps with general performance. So yeah, give that a go. Hopefully that will help. But in terms of my general training, I think everything is becoming a lot better. My power movements are increasing and my technique is solid, so I'm focusing more on technique now than I was before. So if the technique's not there, then the strength isn't going to build. If the technique's bad or the habits are bad, then the strength is going to only increase the problems going further on into the progression, if you see what I mean. So the power movements and the general strength movements that I did yesterday in my training session all linked to sprint performance or in general deceleration or the control of the movement at least, and general sort of hip mobility. If I don't have my hip mobility, I can't sprint, therefore I can't take part in general performance aspects and field conditioning as well. So as long as I'm still progressing with that, the better things will be, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to get some sleep anyway very soon because I'm starting back at my first lecture tomorrow for 2019 for my end of year project, so this will be an interesting one. Thanks for listening or watching, and I hope this has been very informative for you. Take care of yourselves and peace out.